Hey guys, welcome back to St. Isidore's Farm. Really happy to have the time to be back here working on some projects, and also, which means putting together a video. You saw in the house, in our kitchen, our dry erase board with our to-do list, which is things we're hoping to get to today or this week, try to lay some things out. And also some video of us getting into our bees already this afternoon. And just a quick update there. We'd gotten us a call from some friends who had a very small, this big, swarm of bees on their property. I was in the middle of something, so Chantel ran over. But anyways, within about 2 weeks, we looked in there. There's no queen, but there were just hatched eggs, larvae that was about to be capped brood, and 3 drawn out queen cells, all in a space about this big. So I was really kind of perplexed with what was going on because there weren't any more eggs laid and there was no queen. So I went to Instagram, social media, and sent some messages to beekeepers that I follow on there, especially Girl Next Door Honey out in California, and just posed the question, you know, what do you think this is all about? I mean, a laying worker, which if it was, it seems like there would have been a lot more eggs and many more of them in the cells. But her best guess was, and I think she might be right, is that the reason they swarmed in the first place is they were probably tired of that, or didn't like that queen. She wasn't maybe laying enough. They got in there, they got her to lay a few eggs, and then they supersedured her, created supersedure cells, and pushed her out again. So anyways, they're really struggling. The queens haven't hatched yet. They should very soon, but you can just see that the size, the number of bees is really diminishing. And so we had also done a walk-away split from our strongest hive, so we figured they, for some reason, we gave them everything they needed to draw out and cap queen cells, make a new queen in this walk-away split, and for some reason they didn't. So what we were doing just now was combining those two. So we put the queen cells from the swarm in with the walk-away split. Hopefully that all works out. We'll update you here in a couple of weeks and see if we have a laying queen in there. So I'm standing now in front of the field which we grew the sunflower seeds in. If you followed some of our videos, this is the field which had really particularly infertile soil, not good soil. And so we grew those this summer and they did well. And so now we're in the process of trying to get annual ryegrass growing, which is coming up in some places. Unfortunately, we put the ryegrass in and then it germinated, and we have had about 3 weeks of drought. We have not had any rain. It is sprinkling right now, rained a little bit yesterday, it's supposed to rain the rest of this week, which is perfect timing because we also have put in seeds for a food plot for white-tailed deer. So I actually want to go down to another field on the other side of our property where we put in a much larger food plot and talk about that. So this is a field on another side of our property from the front, in the back, going towards our woods. And as I said, well, in the last video, we don't raise yet any other livestock, meat livestock, so cows, goats, pigs, sheep, but we do harvest white-tailed deer off of our property. And so one of the things we're wanting to do is create more of a draw onto our farm for white-tailed deer by putting in some food plots. So some up at the front of the property that might actually draw deer from across the street, the woods that are over there onto our property this way. And then this large area, probably about 1/4 of an acre back here that we've put in. And you can see, not promoting this particular brand, but these are some food plots that we bought at Tractor Supply that we're going to try putting in. So I've got 7 different things in there: chicory and clover, rye is in there, winter peas, radishes, turnips, and sugar beets, all in this mix. I'm probably forgetting something, but that are going in here. And as you can see, thankfully, and I'm happy to stand out here in the rain because honestly it has just been so dry here, it's turned into a dust bowl. Really a blessing to be getting rain on the farm again, especially that we've got this seed in here to help it germinate. But as you can see, hopefully on the camera, we've put up a fence around here for 2 purposes. One, to keep the chickens out from going in and eating all of the seed that we just put in there, but also at least somewhat from keeping deer out until the food plot gets really established. So we do, again, most of the hunting that we do is up in our woods, and we are surrounded by woods on all of the neighboring properties. And so the deer definitely are here in our county. We are not trophy hunters. I mean, we definitely put meat in the freezer for our family. But as you can see, it is pretty fun to see a young 8-point buck show up on the trail camera the other day, which is pretty cool to see. We don't have to talk a lot about our chickens, but they're doing great, continuing to lay strong for us, although some of them are probably getting at the end of their most fertile egg laying, so we're going to have to be transitioning them out at some point. And hopefully we're going to be probably doing for the first time, we think, here soon, meat birds, which we've helped other people with and processed and done. We've just not done it ourselves with a number of other things going on. So we'll see if we get to doing some ordering and getting some meat birds for the first time this fall. And update, the ducks are doing fine. They're not laying as much as they were, or else they have a super top secret place where they're laying their eggs and we simply can't find it. But egg laying has dropped off some, maybe just the heat of the end of the summer, and not sure. We've not done a lot with the ducks, but they're doing well. We hatched out some with some of our broody hens, and so we lost a couple of ducks. And I think to probably a raccoon and possibly a snapping turtle, one of them. But we've since hatched out a few more, and they're all doing great. Right? Duck, duck. Hey, duck. So one of the more frustrating things of the summer as an update was that we tried to grow corn yet again, put it in this spot right here. Knew there probably wasn't a great chance that it was going to work, but it was a worse failure than I even thought. It just, I mean, at best, some of the plants got about this tall, tasseled out, and that was it. And so corn still eludes us, and we watch videos from some of the other channels, other people, and you know, you drive places and you see corn that's 8 feet tall and with some real envy. So we'll try it again next year. It may just be that for corn up here where we're hoping to do some things in the garden, we're just going to have to bring in some composted topsoil or something to put into the ground in order to grow the corn, because short of that, I just don't know how we're gonna make corn happen here without a lot of time of building up soil in the places where we would like to do it. So this is the garden. As it is getting ready to go into the fall, we have been out here working pretty hard to clean everything back, removed all of the dead plants to ground level, and have mixed back in some new compost into the tops of the rows of raised beds, and have put in our seeds for the fall. So two other quick little updates. The fence worked largely. I will say that on the back side over there, on a really long run, we did have a night where my guess would be a buck got in and was able to twist or break some of the fishing line and did get into the sweet potatoes some. But we're able to repair that, and we still harvested a lot of sweet potatoes out of the garden. Some of the plants are still going strong. Those onions, believe it or not, were some green onions we bought in the grocery store for a recipe. Cut them down to the little white parts with a little bit of roots on them, stuck them in the ground, and look at them go. Can't seem to kill those. And some of the peppers are still going, and the eggplant is going really, really strong. So hopefully with all this rain, all the seeds that we put in are going to germinate, and we'll start to get fall and cool weather crops coming up soon. Okay, one last issue before we leave the garden and get out of the rain, getting a little waterlogged at this point, is to say that a commenter on a previous video that we made about a back-to-Eden garden method, and I would say this person was decidedly in favor of traditional garden practices and not a proponent of the back-to-Eden method, asked the question, what about fire ants? Well, at the time when I saw that comment, we had not had any fire ant issues in the garden, but in full disclosure, I must say, they moved in strong this summer into the wood chips and really seemed to prefer it. And the challenge there, a problem is that if you've ever been around fire ants, you know they're not really on the surface. You don't really see them until you disturb them. So we would go out and weed the garden, pull a weed up, and if you weren't paying close attention, your hand would soon be covered with fire ants stinging you. So I was stung, and I think everybody in the family was stung by fire ants working in the garden this summer. So it is an issue. If you're trying to do the back to Eden method in the south, where there are fire ants present, I would say be mindful of it and be on the lookout for the possibility that you may end up having fire ants move in. There are obviously things out there, people will talk about ways to naturally try to get rid of the fire ants. In the interest of protecting my family from getting stung, and especially my son, who tends to swell up more when he gets stung by them. Not an allergic reaction, but he definitely does swell up. We did go with some of the products that are out there for fire ants. Honestly, they sell some now that have it's a white powder that you just shake a little bit of it onto the fire ant mound and it kills them. And it does do it effectively and pretty quickly, seemingly within about 24 hours. So I just wanted to say that, again, in full disclosure, that as much as this has really worked out for us this summer in terms of gardening and actually getting produce, unlike any of the previous 2 summers that we've been out here where we couldn't get anything, this has really worked, but that did become an issue for us this summer. Well, one other update on the farm, if you've seen some of our videos, we like to find wild edible mushrooms on our property, and preceding this rain, the honey mushrooms started to come up again. So as you see this little montage videos put together, all the different places they're coming up in our yard, not so much in the woods, but up here is a link to a video we posted previously about how to identify honey mushrooms. Really delicious. Good mushrooms, and you can even dry them out when they really start to come up in big numbers. Well, that's about it for updates, or the larger updates and some of the projects we're doing. I'm going to go inside, get dried off a little bit, maybe some of this rain will pass, and then get a chance to get back here and work on a few more things. One of the things I did want to mention, I'm sure maybe somebody noticed, wearing this fine Amish straw hat, not trying to look like Doug from Doug and Stacy Off Grid, but we do have some acquaintances, now friends, that live up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Got to spend time with them, which was really incredible, just so peaceful and calm and relaxing and joyful. There really is something to their way of life that they have held on to for all of these centuries. When we were there, I made mention of, I really have always wanted to get a straw hat, an Amish straw hat, which reminded Katie that the boys, their 6 boys, were getting ready to start school on Monday, and they needed new hats for the school year. So we went over, we were going to go look at their organic farm, and on the way we stopped at another farmer's house where the wife makes straw hats. And so down in the basement of her house, we went down in, knocked on the door. Of course, there's no lights, no electricity, but went down in there, and it's just a storeroom in the basement with shelves of nothing but straw hats all around. So picked this one out and got the ribbon extra. It's $1 extra, but the hat was $14, $15, and then the ribbon was an extra dollar, so $16. The funny thing is, I don't carry that much cash often sometimes, and only had $11 on me, so I had to borrow money from Katie. So I was borrowing money from the Amish, but sent it back. I promised I'd send it back to her, and we sent some honey along as well. But anyways, just a really very, very nice, it's super comfortable. So my favorite hat now here working on the property. And then I'm going to send out this video with, we went up to Shenandoah National Park just yesterday, or Friday and yesterday, for a long-awaited family camping trip. We've been wanting to go, but along with everything else that we've had going on, we couldn't get that in either. And so really, really enjoyed the visit. Had to cut it short, unfortunately, because of all this rain that was coming and a line of thunderstorms up in the Appalachian Mountains last night. We decided to cut the camping trip earlier, early, but ended up going yesterday. Decided since we had to come back through Charlottesville, Virginia anyways, we went to Thomas Jefferson's home, Monticello, and got the whole family to tour around there and see his gardens, which is always incredibly inspiring. I mean, it really does make you want to come back and get to work on your own property and do some of those things. So anyways, we're going to send you out in this video with just some video clips about our camping trip and also some of the views, things we saw at Monticello. Until the next video from here at St. Isidore's Farm, take care and God bless. We're always trying, I think about doing this.
We've never done this.
We don't ever put it together. Sam, where are we going?
We are going to Shenandoah National Park.
That's right. Well, maybe we'll actually put this together. And